Hola chicos! Today we're going to talk about los tiempos futuro y condicional. We're presenting them together because they're very similar in how they're formed. They mean different things, but they have the exact same stems. ¿Qué seré? What will I be? ¿Qué haría? What would I do? So we'll start with the future, el futuro. Something will happen or I will do something. You're just going to take the entire infinitive and you're going to add the ending to the end. You're used to taking the infinitive, cutting off the ending, and adding another set of endings in order to conjugate a verb. But here you don't have to do that. You're going to take the whole infinitive and add has, a, hemos, han. Now, keep in mind the accents are very important. If you don't have the accents, sometimes the verb will mean something different. So you want to make sure that written accent, you're conscientious about the written accent. So I have some ejemplos here. Hablaré, I will speak. Comerás, you will eat. And escribirán, they will write. So you have the whole infinitive hablar, and then you've added e to the end. Now when you have a pronoun, you want to make sure that you put it before the verb. Even though it's a little deceptive in that you're working with an infinitive, it's still considered a conjugated verb. So you're going to have lo encontraremos. We will find it. I have put the lo, the pronoun, in red so that you can see where the placement is. Hay irregulares, claro. Like with any tense in Spanish, you are going to have irregulars. But I've categorized them in such a way that hopefully it'll help you remember them a little bit easier. Okay, so for this group of verbs, you're just going to look at the infinitive and then you're going to remove the e from the infinitive. So haber becomes habre, poder, podre, querer, quer, saber, sabre. With the next group of verbs, you're going to replace the e from the infinitive with a d. So poner becomes pondre, salir, saldre, tener, tendre, and venir, vendre. And then the next two are just irregular. They don't fall into any categories. So decir is dir, and hacer is har. And so otros ejemplos are dirán la verdad, they will tell the truth. Pondrás la mesa, will you set the table? Queremos ir a Madrid, we will want to go to Madrid. Now the conditional is something would happen, or I would do something. It uses the same stems as the future tense, including the irregulars. The endings are different, however. So you have ia, ias, ia, íamos, ian. So we've seen those before. They look a lot like the imperfect endings for ER and IR verbs. And then I have some other examples here. Serían buenos estudiantes. They would be good students. Estudiarías mucho. You would study a lot. Me haría profesor. I would become a teacher. Now we see the conditional often with the imperfect subjunctive and in hypothetical conditions. They're called C clauses. And the other part of that sentence is usually in the conditional. So I've highlighted the C clause in red. So that's the imperfect subjunctive. Si fuera médico, querría trabajar en África. If I were a doctor, which I'm not, that's why it's hypothetical, I would want to work in Africa. So I would want to work in Africa. That part is the conditional part of that sentence. And we can talk about imperfect subjunctive and hypothetical conditions in another video. Adios!